Good morning. My name is Marianne Atwell Hardy, and I am a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. And we are coming to you today in person and through the beauty of technology from the Four Points Sheraton at RDU. So, welcome. We're going to start today, as we start every day, every Sunday, with a meditation. And that just gets us quiet and centered so that we are prepared to open our hearts and minds to whatever will unfold in the service. So I'm going to start with the reading, and then we'll get quiet for about 15 minutes. And then I'll bring us back out of meditation, and the service will start at 10:15. So I'm reading today from Ernest Holmes. I prepare for that which I wish to experience. And from 2 Corinthians, and God is able to make all grace abound towards you. Ernest Holmes writes, realizing that all action starts with and is a result of consciousness, I prepare my mind to receive the best that life has to offer. Mentally, I associate myself with that which is good, beautiful, and happy. I am increasingly aware of the one presence, the one life, the one spirit, which is God. Believing that it is the divine intention for everyone to live an abundant life, I consciously align myself with the outpouring of spirit. Accepting that all things are possible to the one who has faith, I daily increase my expectancy. I broaden my vision to include the greater good for myself and others. I cultivate faith, keeping my consciousness open to an increasing awareness of my union with good. Today, I expect an increase. Today, I expect greater joy, more happiness, deeper peace, and a more complete sense of divine power. Today, I meet everyone with the understanding that he or she is part of the divine order. I gladly and joyfully enter into the inheritance of the kingdom of good and God. I know that I have life, that I have intelligence, that I live by faith, and I am part of the one divine being. Therefore, I accept this life fully without reservation. I hold the conviction that good is the eternal reality and that I live in this good now. So, knowing that we all do live in this good, I invite you to just settle in, to get quiet. Take some very deep belly breaths. And just tune in to that still small voice inside. And the music will come on, and we'll meditate for about 15 minutes. perfect for you. Knowing how reassuring and joyful that knowledge is, I invite you back into the room wherever you are, gently. Mindfully come back. And I want to thank each one of you who participated in the room or out in Zoom land. Thank you for preparing yourself and preparing the space and the consciousness that will expand with the service and what we hear, what we experience, what we see, what we feel. Thank you again, and the service will start at 10:15.
I just got the finger pointed at me. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. We are so glad that you have chosen to join us this morning, whether you are here at 4 Points by Sheridan or you have invited us into your homes today. I'm very glad that we get to spend some time with you this morning. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Dusty Rippelmeyer, and I happen to have the honor and the privilege of being this community's spiritual director. We're part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living. And Centers for Spiritual Living believe that there is one power and presence back of everything that there is, everything that we can see, everything that we cannot see. That this power and presence is within us and surrounding us, not some being in a long white beard sitting on a cloud somewhere, doling out punishments and favors at whim. Not a capricious God, but a loving God that is always present and ever available and always willing to give us the kingdom of heaven on earth. We also believe that because we were created by it in its image and likeness, that because it is creative, then we too are creative, and that we actually create the experiences of our lives through our thoughts, our ideas, our words, our feelings, and our actions. And so for me, that's the really good news. If I'm not particularly liking the experience of life that I'm having in the moment, that I have an opportunity to change that, change your thinking, change your life. And so we come together on Sundays and Wednesday evenings and for classes and for social events to support each other on this spiritual path, to remind each other who we really are, and to really love each other up as we walk through this thing called life. So thank you very much for being here. We traditionally love to have a flower dedication on Sundays, and we actually happen to have 3 flower dedications today, and the trifecta is brought to us from the lovely Heather Abbott. So she says, today's dedication is full of love and celebration to the abundant October birthdays that I celebrate this week. Today, I send love and joy-filled wishes to birthday girl Missy Price. Your light shines bright in my life, in this community, within your family, and in the world. I am grateful to you for sharing the beauty and the wisdom of who you are. Happy birthday, Missy. Yay, happy birthday, Missy. The second, Heather says, every day, and especially tomorrow on her birthday, I celebrate the arrival on the planet of Carol Cross. You color the world with your generosity of spirit, caring nature and passion to celebrate life. You brighten the world as you show up for everyone you love. You've added grace to the world as you've journeyed through the bittersweet experiences of loss. And you poetically share with the world the love, faith, and joy that you expect in each day's unfolding. With so much love, Carol, happy birthday. And lastly, I celebrate the birthday of my bestie, Casey Calnan. This is only the 8th birthday of yours that I've known you to be able to celebrate, and I wished I'd had them all, but I'm grateful knowing that I'll get the rest. Your gift to my life, the love that you are, has allowed the love I am to shine, and I thank Spirit every day for our sacred and cherished connection. I see who you truly are and celebrate your multitude of talents, your deep and caring heart, and your beautiful and wise mind. With all my love, happy birthday, Casey. See, you too could do one of those for somebody that you love. This is a save the date announcement for Thanksgiving. So we are going to have a Thanksgiving potluck on Sunday. I was going to say Thanksgiving. the 20th, November the 20th. Thanksgiving is on during that week, but that Sunday before Thanksgiving Day, we will be having a potluck following service. So please bring something to share with everyone. It can be Thanksgiving themed or not. I will handle the turkey, as I so love to do. So please come and join us for that. Get it on your calendar now so that you can be here on that Sunday for our Thanksgiving potluck. And speaking of Thanksgiving and gratitude, I just thank Marianne Hardy for her beautiful meditation that expanded the container that our service will unfold within. It was absolutely wonderful. Thank you so very much. And speaking of Marianne, let's welcome her back to the podium.
Good morning again. Oh, the theme for the year 2022, which is going quickly, is Living Everyday Wonder. Our theme for the month of October is finance. And Rev Dusty's talk title is Let It Flow. I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement, which is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity in God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through service, celebration, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. So now if you will close your eyes again, turn within, open your heart and mind. Take that very, very deep belly cleansing breath all the way down and just allow the healing sounds of the crystal bowls to wash over you. Follow the sounds all the way to the end.
invite you to leave that beautiful vibration and return to your body. Open your eyes. Good morning, everyone. My name is Carol Cross. I'm one of the practitioners here, and I am just so honored to get to spend this time with you. We're going to begin with our Blessings of All Faith. I'd like to ask our volunteers, Karen and Nell, to come up and assist me with this meaningful ceremony. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principles of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. Thank you, ladies. All right, so now I ask you to close your outer eyes again as I say a word of blessing on today's divine service. So I close my eyes and allow myself to experience that which flows in, around, and through me. That one love that is the essence of each and every one of us, each and everything in this universe. And I relax and I let it flow. And I feel that one power, that one presence that is the presence of joy, of peace, of abundance, of wisdom, of love. I know that is who and what I am. I know that is who and what everybody participating in today's service, whether it's actually today or sometime in the future. Everyone in our community, everyone in our world, everyone and everything in the universe. And that is powerful to really get in touch with that. But as we get in touch with that, I know that it sets us up to really have a divine experience today, knowing it will unfold in divine perfection. I say a word of blessing on Marianne Hardy, who started off our service this morning, but continues to be that beacon of peace and centeredness throughout the service. A word of blessing on the volunteers who came early to perform their sacred service, setting everything up and helping everything to just move smoothly through our services. A word of blessing on our beloved Heather, who is just like the maestro of technology back there. And she just does so much and does it with such grace. A word of blessing on our own piano man, Mr. Sandy Hemingway, who will once again uplift us with his triple threat of being a singer, songwriter, and pianist extraordinaire. A word of blessing on Reverend Dusty. I know that she is a hollow bone today, just funneling that wisdom and that love and that grace and that power of the divine, and supports us all in manifesting that more fully in our lives. And I say a word of blessing on every one of you, because this is a divine event of co-creation. And your presence, your consciousness is a major factor in this morning's success. So, with all of that, and I am just so happy. I am so happy to be in this place and to be with this extraordinary group of lights. So I say we turn this over to the law that always says yes with our words, and so it is. All right, so the reading for today is by Swami Kayandananda. And he says, to attract abundance in your life, see money as a flow of energy, not as a static quantity. See life in the same way, as a flowing river, not as fixed patterns of behavior. Leave your ego on the bank and enter the stream of cosmic awareness. There are no limits to how much of life's abundance can be yours if you will plunge into the divine current and swim there joyously. I like that one. So, and speaking of things that I like, I always like being able to introduce a man who supports our community in so many ways, not least of which is his incredible talent. So let's welcome Sandy Hemingway.
Good morning, everyone. This introduction is going to be a little longer than normal now, with the month topic being finance and the title being Let It Flow. I have a little story to share with you that happened to me earlier this year. I had a song idea and I was really struggling with it, and so I said I'm going to commission a song from Stow Good, two of my posse music friends. They're actually Nashville songwriters. They make a living doing this, and they can do custom songs. And so I sent them an email. I said, I'd like you to do a custom song. And they quoted me a price, which was way more than I had intended to pay. And then I said, well, can we break that up into payments? And they said, well, we have this Angels program where we invite people to just send a fixed amount for the next year. And they sent that, and I said, well, that sounds perfect. And they had a level that was $222 a month. And so I was going to choose that. But I'm about 5 years from retirement, and I've been watching the stock market. And of course, anybody else who's been watching their 401k knows that it's taken a beating this year. And so that's when those demons of doubt started going around my mind. It's like, $222 a month. Where's $222 a month going to come from, Sandy? And I told myself what I do every time when I hear those doubts, when I'm trying to be generous. And it's like, the money will fall from the sky like it always does. So 2 days after I made that commitment and said, yes, I'm committing to this, my company sends an email saying, we're changing our medical provider. Now, it just so happens that my weekly contribution for my premium was $222 a week. A week, which I'm getting older. It's Anyway, but that's what I had been paying. So it's a coincidence that it happened to be exactly that. They said, we're changing providers, and your amount per week is going to drop to $165 per week. And so I did the math, and it's like, that's like $260 a month savings. 2 days after I committed, it's like, oh, here's the money. Now, some weeks I have trouble matching the talk topic. Well, this talk topic is Let It Flow. This is a song I wrote a while ago. It's called Let It Flow. Take a moment, take a breath. Silence all the voices in your head. You don't have to force it. You'll get to where you go. In your place of peace, you find the flow. Let it flow, let it flow. Perfection is around you, let it flow. Find your feet, let it go. Perfection is around you, let it flow. Make a promise, make a vow. Don't believe the can't inside you now. You are just a channel, and God already knows. In your place of peace, you'll find the flow. Let it flow, let it flow. Perfection is around you, let it flow. Find your feet, let it go. Perfection is around you, let it flow. Let it flow, let it flow. Perfection is around you, let it flow. Find your feet, let it go. Perfection is around you, let it flow. Doubts can be released when you find your place of peace. Perfection is around you, let it flow. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Sandy. That was beautiful. I loved your story. And so it is. That's the way it works. So last Sunday, we began our monthly contemplation about finances. And I said that we're not just talking about finances. We're not just talking about money. We're not just talking about the state of our checking accounts. That we are looking at more than that. That we are talking about all of the grains of sand on all of the beaches, all the multitude of stars in the sky, all of the shapes and sizes and colors and textures that exist on the land and in the sea and in the air. The universe is extravagant in its expression. Wouldn't you agree? It is extravagant in its expression. It is pure, abundant energy everywhere and always present. This infinite ocean that I talked about last week, there is no lack and limitation. The universe is infinite abundance, always flowing, always creating, always expressing itself, and constantly giving. Ernest Holmes says, we believe in the external goodness, or the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life. The eternal givingness, not just when we arrived on the planet, but every moment of every day. The source energy plays no favorites, right? It's not judgmental, it's not capricious. It gives to everyone alike with absolutely no exceptions. In equal measure. It has always been that way, and it will always be. Last week we talked about the bounty of God. And I said that that word bounty literally means something that is given generously. So God's bounty then is everything that we are given generously by God. It's God's nature to give, and as Emerson said, we cannot outgive God. So if this is true, which I believe that it is, then everything is created by and out of the original, eternally creating and eternally giving divine mind. And here and now, we are all, each of us alike, surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. So the first question that is on my mind then is, how much of this infinite good is ours? And the unquestionable answer is all of it. All of it. And the second question that comes up in my mind is, how much of it do we have to use? And again, the unquestionable answer is as much of it as we can embody. As much of it as we believe that we can have. As much of it as we can accept. As much of it as we can expect. As much of it as we allow to let flow to us and through us. Now, when I think about this idea of let it flow, I think about Lao Tzu. Now, Lao Tzu was a Chinese philosopher that was credited with founding the philosophical system of Taoism. Now, he is credited with being the author of the Tao Te Ching, which is translated as the way of virtue. The funny thing is, however, that there's absolutely no proof that he ever actually lived. But if he did, it would have been between the 5th and the 6th centuries BC, which would have made him a contemporary of Confucius. Now, Taoist philosophers emphasize over and over and over again that the true Tao is an all-encompassing force that cannot be described. It is beyond our comprehension and cannot be perceived by the senses. So it's in the Tao, the true Tao is indefinable. Each person then must find the Tao, discover the Tao for themselves on their own terms. A teaching like this can be very hard to grasp because most people really want to have very concrete definitions in their lives. But even though we can never really truly grasp the Tao, the goal is to live in agreement with it. And I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of really think that this sounds a lot like being in alignment with the divine. Something that is equally beyond our complete comprehension. Lao Tzu's fundamental idea was that people can live happier and more fulfilling lives when they align themselves with the Tao rather than being in opposition to it. Taoist literature doesn't really give us just one practical method to achieve this. However, there are many cues that we can get that really point to actually powerfully stepping into the stillness of our mind, to curbing our senses, to being humble, and to really being able to let go of striving. Let go of striving. And when we can do these things, we will open ourselves up to the universe. One well-known concept of Taoism is this idea called Wu Wei. Now, Wu Wei can be translated as non-action or effortless action, or the really paradoxical idea of action, the action of non-action. Now, I really would be surprised if some of you aren't just sitting there thinking, what the heck is she talking about now? So, Wu Wei is and can be translated as doing nothing. Doing nothing. But in actuality, in Chinese, it really means not forcefully acting. Not forcefully acting. Not doing anything that is out of alignment with the Tao. And really allowing things to just flow, right? In the natural order of things. Now, non-action means swimming with the current instead of trying to swim upstream. It means bending with the wind rather than trying to be so rigid in our lives. Forcefully acting, on the other hand, is like blowing up a mountain in order to be able to create a more direct roadway. What Lao Tzu is talking about is becoming more aware of what the natural order is and to just get with it, to get in alignment with it, to step into that flow. Rather than taking the mountain down, there are really multiple other ways of going around it. Ways that are more peaceful, more gentle. Speaking of gentle, another essential teaching of Taoism is the power of gentleness. So by really forcing and striving, we can get some things done. We really can. It's a way that we can be in the world. But at the same time, we're actually spending much more energy than is necessary, and we may suffer from some collateral damage along the way. On the other hand, someone in a state of flow approaches a task, a particular task that they're trying to do, or a particular situation intelligently, and finds a balance between action and non-action. Taoism compares life with a river. Once we find ourselves in that river, we can swim against the current. We could hang on to a branch, or we could let go and just go with the flow of that river. Now, most of our lives, we're actually swimming against the current, whether we recognize it or not. In order to survive, however, the truth is that the vast in order to really survive, we need to really allow ourselves to go with that flow. But what we typically do is that we think that we have to or that we need to really control or manipulate our environments. But the truth is that the majority of processes that go on within us or go on outside of us, we have very little control over. Very little control. So instead of trying to control everything, the Taoist way is to flow with the river. Another aspect of the river that characterizes Taoism is the water itself. So the characterization of water is as something that is very soft and it's very humble. And this is really in alignment with the symbolism and the underlying foundational philosophy of Taoism itself. This idea of being soft and being humble. In Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, a book in which he translates in his own words the Tao Te Ching, Wayne Dyer invites us to be more like water. He reminds us that for 9 months, we were actually, our beingness was sustained by amniotic fluid. And that even now, each and every single one of us is 75 to 85% water. He says, the Tao asks you to clearly see the parallels between you and this naturally flowing substance that allows life to sustain itself. Live as water lives, since you are water. Become as contented as is the fluid that animates and supports you. Let your thoughts and behaviors move smoothly in accordance with the nature of all things. So the bottom line is that while water might be soft, it really can overcome hardness. Think about erosion of a rock or even a mountain, right? It's soft and yet very, very powerful. Water appears to be something that we could really easily overcome, but if we push it away, that it will on its own find a level in which it is underneath all strong things and can really move into a space that doesn't allow hard things to really get in its way. It is able to take on that new space in a way that it has absolutely no resistance to it. When we're flexible like water and have enough patience to allow the passage of the right amount of time, anything is possible. Let me say that again. When we're flexible like water and have enough patience to allow for the passage of the right amount of time, anything is possible. No matter what our human perceptions are telling us about the challenges or the obstacles or the circumstances that we are experiencing in the living of our lives, we can absolutely know beyond a shadow of a doubt that divine wisdom, divine right action, and divine timing are always at play. They are always at play. Everywhere we are, God is. In the translation of another verse, Wayne Dyer says, water is so soft that it cannot be harmed, damaged, or destroyed. It simply returns to its source to be used over and over again. Boil it until it disappears and its vapors enter the atmosphere, ultimately to return. Drink it and it returns after nourishing your body. Pollute it and it will return after enough passage of time to become purified nourishment again. This is all accomplished because of the element's mutable softness. So the idea here is to trust our innate gentle selves, to to really be patient rather than controlling or manipulative, to be soft, to hang back, and to allow our gentle side, our loving side to lead the way. Let that be the first aspect of you that walks into a room, that walks into a situation, that walks into a relationship. Give up being rigid and hard and interfering and needing to be right. And opt instead to be like water and to flow like a river. In a practical sense, Wu Wei, as this idea of the state of flow, is often referred to as being in the zone by athletes. And when an athlete is in the zone, they engage in action without striving. They simply move through time and space effortlessly. There is no extremes, no worries, no rumination about everything. Everything seems to flow in a natural order, in a natural course. They're on fire, right? Everything falls into place. Now, on Wednesday, our service was about givingness. And I talked about the importance of both giving and receiving. That they're both necessary, that you can't really have one without the other. And in order to keep energy flowing, in order to keep prosperity flowing, in order to keep love flowing, we have to keep the energy circulating. And that means we have to participate on both sides of the process, both giving and receiving. Now, the reality is that we are in an ever-flowing cycle of giving and receiving. We take in oxygen in that in-breath, and in the out-breath, we give carbon dioxide out into the world to be used by other beings in order for them to survive or to thrive. We live in synchronicity with the world around us. Nature provides, a multitude of examples of this dynamic exchange between giving and receiving that is necessary for the flow of life. We receive the gift of oxygen from the trees, and the trees receive the carbon dioxide that they need from us. Insects receive nectar from flowers, and they in turn give the gift of what's the word I'm thinking of? Pollination. Pollination, I was going to say population, well, similar, but different P word. In pollination, symbiotic relationships are abundant in nature and are needed for the ecosystem to really be able to survive and to thrive. Absolutely necessary. Now, everything in the universe depends upon the flow of circulation, including ourselves. If one aspect of this energy flow doesn't work, the entire cycle ceases to function, and the energy becomes stuck and stagnant. Einstein said that nothing happens until something moves. So if we stop the movement, then we stop what's happening. And we don't know, we have absolutely no way of knowing, but the thing that was going to happen could have probably been really awesome. It could have been really amazing, but we caused it not to happen by not being a willing participant in the process, whether we're talking about giving or we're talking about receiving. Now, the bottom line is that the universe is always giving to us, always giving to us. There's an eternal flow that is always happening, and it's available to everyone with no exceptions. So the invitation is to open our minds and our hearts to receiving. We all seem pretty good at giving, but it's the receiving part that's sometimes hard. But really, in truth, to open our hearts and our minds to both giving and receiving, to let it flow through and to us and through us. Now, Refusing to receive is like stepping on a garden hose. It just stops the flow, right? It just stops that flow of water. Our resistance does not allow for the natural ebb and flow of life to happen, for the ebb and flow of the universe to happen. Things are easier and more natural when they're in flow, just like it is for the athletes. Now, Wednesday we talked about some questions that we should and could ask ourselves. And the first question is, am I ready to receive? Where have I placed myself in the ebb and flow of the universe? Have I positioned myself in a stance of interconnectivity with everything and everyone on the planet? Do I have my arms open wide to receive the sunlight, the moonlight, the falling rain, the joy, the peace, the abundance, the wisdom, the bounty of God? It is always being given. Do we have our arms and our hearts and our minds open wide to receive? Am I ready to receive? Question number 2, do I feel that I am lovable and worthy of being in the flow? Researcher and author Brene Brown says that only about 15 to 20% of the people can easily both give and receive. 15 to 20% of people. The findings suggested that what causes the ability to really receive as well as give is whether or not people feel that they are lovable at their core. We can ask ourselves, do I believe that I am irrefutably lovable and valuable, and that I do not need any benchmark of success or anybody outside of myself to tell me that that's true or to prove it? Am I lovable? Do I believe that I am lovable and valuable? And the third question we can ask ourselves is, what am I willing to welcome? What am I willing to welcome into my lives? What do I feel? Do I really feel that I'm deserving of all of the things that I desire? Am I willing to make the choices that really have an ability to really enhance every single arena of my life? So another analogy that we could use, like that of the garden hose, is to think about the water, the flow of water that's coming out of our faucet in the kitchen sink. Now, do we come to the faucet with a thimble, or do we come to the faucet with a bushel basket? If the flow is available, depending upon how much I can embody, depending upon how much I believe that I can have, on how much I can accept, on how much I can expect, or on how much I let flow in my life, then doesn't the container make a difference? Doesn't the container let the universe know who we are and what we are ready to embody or to believe in or to accept or to expect or to let flow? Ben Sweetland says, the world is full of abundance and opportunity, but far too many people come to the fountain of life with a sieve instead of a tank car, a teaspoon instead of a steam shovel. They expect little, and as a result, they get little. Just saying. Now, I know how this community loves the practical things, so today I have 3 ideas for letting it flow. And the first is to to know that it's very important that accepting change, thank you, Sandy, later, I guess that was a little bit of a spoiler alert. Anyway, we often think of flow as a single fixed moment of tranquility. But in reality, it's not a fixed moment. It's really the point of flow, right, is that it's an ever-changing energy. It's ever-changing. Not a fixed point, but it's ever-changing. So the acceptance of change, rather than being in such resistance to, which many of us are, right, allows us to better accept flow for what it is. A constant movement through, get this, a constant movement through changing circumstances. That's important. A constant movement through changing circumstances. And the truth, right, the truth is just like the truth about the weather here. If you don't like the weather we're having in the moment, just wait a minute. If you don't like the circumstance you're in, rather than being in such resistance to it, which only serves to put your attention on it, which only brings more of it into your life, if we could get into the flow, accept change, get into the flow, then everything would change. You know, just give it a minute. Be patient. When we accept this fact, getting into a state of flow is much easier. And being in a state of flow makes our acceptance of change easier. One helps the other. Lao Tzu says, life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. The second idea is to find our own true nature and to be guided by the wisdom of nature itself. The ocean doesn't spend a whole lot of time thinking about the next wave. Trees don't rarely ever consider how well they're growing. These kinds of things, they just happen. And as such, we are at our best too when we do things naturally. When we act in accordance to our own nature, understanding what we are able to do, what is natural for us to do, what our inner wisdom is encouraging us to do, and going with that, rather than resisting, will make it much easier for us to get into the flow. And lastly, the third idea is that flow takes practice. Takes getting in that flow, letting that flow takes practice. So practice getting into it. Intellectually, we know, right? We can know so many things intellectually, but we can know that it's a really good thing, but really being able to tap into that aspect of ourselves isn't all the time. Time after time after time is really quite another thing. But it will happen easier and easier and easier for us when we practice doing it. When we remind ourselves about change, when we remind ourselves about flow, when we remind ourselves to do what comes naturally to us. So the invitation is to find those activities that get us into the flow. You know that feeling. I know you know that feeling. Like time just goes by. It's effortless to do what you're doing. You are in joy the whole time you're doing it. Right? You know those moments. So to find those activities that get us into the flow, find those that come naturally to us, and to practice them consciously and consistently, and that will build our muscles. That will build our ability to really be able to get into the flow, even in those times when it's hard. So we live in an abundant universe of every form of wealth, right? We're not just talking about money, but we're talking about love. about health, about creativity, about wisdom, about financial freedom, and more, so many more things. But we live in a universe of infinite abundance of every form of wealth. We live in a universe with an extravagant expression of that abundance. The infinite flowing reservoir is always there and is always available to us, but often, too often, we only let a small trickle come through. So our work, right, our work is to get our foot off that hose, to bring the biggest container we can find to that faucet, and to let the flow of the universe to naturally flow to and through us, no matter what. And so it is. So it is. Thank you all so very much. I now invite you to close your outer eyes, if it's comfortable for you to do so, and to turn within, to allow us to return to that center of our being so beautifully created in the invocation by Carol, and the feeling tone of it so beautifully described by Sandy. That spark of the divine, that love energy that is within us. As I close my eyes, I am acutely aware of it. I feel its presence within me, and I am excited. I know that I am one with it, that I can never be separate from it. That even though I may feel like that at times, it is not the truth. That the truth is that, like the sun hiding behind the clouds, that presence is always there, always available, always ready, willing, and able to give me the kingdom of heaven on earth. And just as I know that this is my truth, I know that it is absolutely true for each and every person here this morning, each and every person that is watching us online or will watch us later, every sentient being on the planet. We are all divine emanations of the divine, connected by that golden thread of God stuff. And it is from that place of unity that I speak these words about and for each of us today, truly knowing that we are spiritual beings having a human incarnation. That this flow of life, this abundant energy that is everywhere at all times, is there for each and every single one of us. That all we have to do is remember who we are, who and what we are, whose we are. And to know that as we get into alignment with that power and presence, as we get into alignment with that energy, whether we call it God or we call it the Tao, all things, all good things can flow to and through us. And so I claim ease and grace around our recognizing and aligning with that power and presence. I know that there are ways that we can invite more flow into our lives, that we stand in the place of allowing with our arms wide open, with the largest container that we can find, and our foot off the hose, we in no resistance, being in that space and place of flow, the woo-wee, knowing that it is our birthright. That God is always giving and that it is our job to participate as fully as we possibly can on both sides of that process, the giving and the receiving. And when we do so, we experience relationships and abundance and wisdom and love. That is fulfilling, that is joy-filled, that really has us loving the life that we are living. We live our lives from the inside out, and so we have a choice in this matter. We can swim against that stream, we can hang onto the branches, or we can let go and get in alignment with that flow. Knowing that divine right timing, divine right action, and divine wisdom is always at play. I'm so grateful to know this truth and to speak these words, so grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes. And so I loose these words on our behalf into that law with full expectation of their manifestation. Letting go and letting God be God, I invite each of us to anchor this prayer for ourselves, for each other, for our community, and for the world, simply by saying, and so it is. And so it is. Amen. Thank you all so very much. It is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. This is the time every week when we offer financial support to assist this community to continue to be a beacon of light and love for ourselves and for others. Together we affirm the truth that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and adds to the energy of sufficiency on the planet. There are several ways that you can give, and they are here on our screen and for you on the screen for you at home. Visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org. Text the word "give" to following number 919-230-8445, or you can mail your gift to our office at P.O. Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina 27519. Please place your hand on your hearts with your gift or an intention for yourself or for this community, and we will do our offering blessing in a call and response. Please repeat after me. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. Knowing that God is my source. And so it is. And so it is. So as the baskets are going around, we'll take a moment. It is the second Sunday of the month, and I would like to report on the September financials. So, everything, as always, is a combination, right, and timelined based on your revenue and on your expenses. So incoming this month, the month of September, was $6,089.87. The outgoing was $11,125.28. So that was a net loss for the month of September of $5,033.41. Now breathe, everybody, breathe. So as I said, it's kind of a combination of what it looks like at any given time during the month. So what happened during this month is in one part because, we tithe. We also tithe, right? We believe in tithing. And so we tithe to the mothership, to CSL. And 2 tithes came out, one was at the first of the month for August, and the other was at the end of the month for September. So that ended up increasing our outgoing. Plus, we had to pay $695 for liability insurance, which happens only one time a month. So this, one time a year. Thank you. So this only happens one time a year. So in part, a large part of those higher expenses than normal were based on those two situations. Now, the other thing is that the giving, our tithes were down a little bit during the month of September. And we kind of looked at it, and it's actually kind of funny, but they're down, have been down in September many months, many years. So that's kind of odd, but I don't know why September is like that. But perhaps you're all buying all the September birthday presents. Maybe that's the deal. Our bank balance as of 9/30/22 was $66,637.15. We are indeed and continue to be prosperous. So thank you all so very much for that. And really breathe. All is well. We're okay. Okay. And I would like to make a mention that, like, sometimes things look a little bit different in August, I believe that it was, or maybe it was July, that we had someone from the community step up to sponsor all of the Sundays, meaning that they paid the rent here at 4 Points by Sheridan for each one of the Sundays during that month. And so that, was a big expense that wasn't included, typically in our reporting of the system. So, lots of things come together to create this report and to create our abundance. So thank you all so very much for your generosity, not only of your finances, but of your time and your talent. We really could not be in existence without each and every single one of you. So thank you all so very much. All y'all out there too. Thank you. It is now time to welcome the amazing Sandy Hemingway back to his piano.
So Dusty sort of gave a little hint. Looking for a second talk topic. I don't write about money normally, but I never met a pun I didn't like. And so when I was looking through my song list, I saw this and I went, oh, that's it. Because the title of the song is, I Think I'll Keep the Change, which of course fed right into what Dusty was talking about. What she didn't know is the story behind this. I wrote the music for this, and I really like the music. Now, the music is really, really fast. It's lots and lots of notes, but it's fun to play. And in my mind, I said, well, I want to put some words to this, but the words are going to have to be a lot slower. There's got to be a counter melody. So I was thinking this piano part is an accompaniment part. And I kept playing it, and I kept waiting for this counterpoint to show up, and it didn't. For 4 years, it didn't. And then one morning, I'm in the shower, water running over my head. Yes, the water running over my head. And the first line of the song just downloaded itself into my brain. Every single time that I find I want to cry about my life and all the ways that it's going awry. Okay, that's the first line. There's more words in this than what Dusty just said in her talk. Because until that moment, I had never even considered actually trying to write all of those words. So this is one of those 4 million word songs like One Week or Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire. But it's definitely very applicable because it tells the journey of resisting change when things are going good, wanting change whenever things are going bad, and then the second half of the song, finally accepting change is just, that's a part of the flow. So this is, I Think I'll Keep the Change. Every single time that I find I want to cry about my life and all the ways that it's going awry. I want to know just who I should blame for all my tribulations. I wish that it would change. Every single time that I feel that I can't deal, that I'm reeling from the wheeling and stealing around me. wanna know just who I should blame for all my tribulations. I wish that it could change. Ebb and flow keeps me crazy. I'm pondering and squandering the life that I have, y'all. Why's my road always hazy? The changes keep on coming, it's driving me in the head. Every single time I get going and it's a flowing, and I'm crowing about the happy that's growing inside me. Something comes to take it away and causes tribulations. I didn't want that change. Change is coming, change is growing, change is in the way. Change, change, change is here today. Change is coming, change is growing, change is in the way. Change, change, change is here to stay. Every single time I stop hoping and I start coping, and I'm hoping that tomorrow will be just as fine. Something comes to take it away and cause the tribulations. I didn't want that change. And then up and hit me like Spider-Man, it bit me, and the Superman within me was taking control. Now I can't keep complaining, cause sometimes it is raining. I know I have a voice, I'll make a choice, time to turn around. Every single change is the view to something new, and if I choose to see it through and pursue all the fear now, I don't have to worry at all about limitations. I think I'll keep the change. Change is coming, change is growing, change is in the way. Change, change, change is here today. Change is coming, change is growing, change is in the way. Change, change, change is here to stay. When I reconsider the change in life delivers, I don't have to shiver from the fear of the cold. I can turn and face it, decide to just embrace it. Joy can now replace it, and I know it will go. This is the beginning, and I am finally winning. Now I'm always grinning as I leap to be bold. Higher and higher and higher and higher and higher I will fly. Every single change is a blessing, so no more guessing. I'm not pressing, now I'm resting. I've bested my doubts now. I don't have to worry at all about the limitations. I think I'll keep the change. I think I'll keep the change. I think I'll keep it, yeah. I'll keep the change is coming, change is growing, change is in the way. Change, change, change is here today. Change is coming, change is growing, change is in the way. Change, change, change is here to change, change, change. It's here to change, change, change. It's here to stay. Thank you. Thank you.
Not incredible. Oh man, did you get some of those lines were fantastic. And somebody finally came up with a song that made me laugh instead of cry during service. So, woohoo! All right. So if you're one of these people that finds that they have a hard time receiving, we've got a simple way we can help you, support you in that. We have a button on our website where you can request prayer. And you fill out the form, and it goes to all of our ministers and allows our ministerial corps to support you in whatever you're up to. So give it a try. We want to hear from you. But if you're also working on the giving side of things, we have these weekly flower dedications. And they're always beautiful. And you don't have to wait for somebody's birthday to tell them how important they are to you or how much you love them. Even with your dog, whatever. They'll get the vibration. So if you would like to do that, you can contact Heather Abbott at info@trianglecsl.org or Reverend Dusty at dustyrippelmeyer@yahoo.com. Okay, so next Sunday, October 16th, from 12:15 to 2 o'clock, we have a really special event. Our very own community member, Vincent Jenna, has published his first book, The Secret That's Holding You Back. And this is a great book. And he's going to be doing a workshop and a book signing that afternoon. So if you're somebody who comes to services and you've been praying and you've been meditating and you've been journaling and somehow it's still not working, this is the book for you. So Vinny is a psychic therapist. He has a degree in psychology, but he also has this unbelievable connection to the non-material realm. And this is a secret you don't want to miss. So we will see you here for that after service next week. And then the following week, we got another great thing. Our beloved, oftentimes speaker, Andy Ross, Reverend Andy Ross, has written this book called Creation, A Theology for the Here and Now. And, I always love Andy's talks because, before he was a minister, he was a stand-up comic. And so those two go together really well. But this is definitely his ministerial side. This is, like you see, it's a small book, but every page is just so deep. This is a very contemplative book. So I, for one, want to hear what Andy can explain some of these things to me, because it's all about why we create, why God creates. It's all about creation. So we are just so blessed to have these two people in our community and to be able to take advantage of their incredible gifts and wisdom and perspective. So once again, both of these, if you got the book, bring them and they'll sign them. If you don't have the book, they will be available for sale here. So just to, let's see. So these are being held following the service here at the 4 Points at Sheraton RDU, which is 1200 Clarence Circle, Morrisville. And so what's going to happen is that we need to, immediately after the service, we need to put away the AV equipment and do stuff. So we recommend that you bring a bag lunch. We'll have some tables set up, or else you can run out. There's lots of restaurants and get something to eat while we get our stuff taken care of. And then you will be all set to just receive all of the wisdom that both of these men have to give us. All right, so now it is time for our October affirmations. This is a call and response. So I'll go first. And as always, it's the energy you put into this that make it so. So give it all you got. The universe is infinite abundance, constantly flowing and expressing.
The universe is infinite abundance, constantly flowing and expressing.
In this infinite ocean, there is no lack or limitation.
In this infinite ocean, there is no lack or limitation.
Today, I vow to take my foot off the hose and let the natural abundance of the universe flow freely in my life.
Today, I vow to take my foot off the hose and let the natural abundance of the universe flow freely in my life.
Clearing my consciousness of congestion and restriction, I open my life to God's circulation as money.
Clearing my consciousness of congestion and restriction, I open my life to God's circulation as money.
Money is a form of divine energy, and it flows to and through me. As I let loose old stories about it that no longer serve me.
As I let loose old stories about it that no longer serve me.
Giving and receiving come naturally to me as I joyfully participate in the divine flow.
Giving and receiving come naturally to me as I joyfully participate in the divine flow.
And so it is. Yay! All right. Close your eyes again briefly to just wrap up today. Man, today has been a joy. It has been an outflowing of wisdom and love and that divine perfection. I know that I am touched. I know I am uplifted. I know I am expecting more of everything today. More, like the disco song sang. And I know that that is true of all of us because we are all connected. We are all in this flow together. And we all deserve every wonderful thing in our life. So I know that today's service has inspired us to throw ourselves in a non-active way into that flow of life, into that flow of giving, into that flow of abundance. And in that, bring all desires into our lives more fully and take us that much closer to our goal of a world that works for everyone. So I'm just delighted to have had this time with you. You, the good, the beautiful, and the happy. And having gotten even further in each one of those qualities through today's participation together. So I know this is manifesting in our lives and in this world in the days and weeks to come, and ask you to affirm it with me with our words, and so it is.
So everybody's already standing, so if you just stay standing, we'll sing out with our closing congregational song. You should have the words there on your chairs. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day.
For this day, this beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This wonderful, this wonderful, this wonderful day. This wonderful, this wonderful, this wonderful day.
Thank you all so very much for being here. Thank you for letting us join you in your homes. Have an absolutely amazing week. I love you all. We'll see you soon. Bye.